DreAllDay.com.
Tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put all this together to a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, techniques, mindsets, and philosophies, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is you only deserve it when you have it. Now, this is going to go hand in hand with what I just talked about in yesterday's episode. But before I get into that, first, let me tell everyone that I send out a daily motivation text message every single day. I want you to be in my text community and receive it. So I'm telling you about this for you to text me at the following number, 305-384-6894. Text me at that number. You'll be getting my daily motivation text every single day, free of charge, straight to your phone. Again, 305-384-6894. The topic, once again, here today, you only deserve it when you have it. Now, again, this will go hand in hand with what I talked about yesterday. And a lot of what I talked about yesterday was about understanding that these feel-good phrases and these feel-good things that we say to ourselves and that maybe others have said to and about you. There's nothing wrong with feeling good. There's nothing wrong with getting the dopamine, the oxytocin flowing through your body. The challenge is if you are not following the proper formulas to actually achieve an outcome, you can have all of those empty calories of feeling good, yet not have the results that you are looking for. So we got to make sure you get a combination of both. All right, keep being a good person, keep feeling good about yourself, keep taking in all the positive feedback and comments from your friends, and even give it out as well. But at the same time, let's make sure you're following some formulas that will actually lead you to winning at the same time that you feel good, because you don't want to feel good and lose. All right, you don't want to have those opposites to deal with. So I looked up what this word deserve means. Many people throw this word around a lot, don't even know what it means, or don't even know how to really put themselves in the position of deserving something. Maybe you know what it means, but you don't put yourself in the position of deserving something. So you're throwing the word around, but don't even realize that you're not even following the formula to get there. But we got to make sure we're clear on what the formula is. And I'm going to lay all that out here today. So here's the following. Quote, looking up definition of deserve. If you say that a person or thing deserves something, you mean that they should have it or receive it because of their actions or qualities. That's something that I read in looking up the definition of the word deserve. In other words, someone is fit to receive something because of their actions or qualities. I am going to challenge this concept of deserving as a false idea because people tell themselves this or they tell others this, and it does its job of producing positive feelings between those humans, but it is not based in actual truth. Today, we're going to get to the truth. Now, I'm not questioning the dictionary and saying that the definition is not the definition. What I'm saying is you believing that you should receive something or telling someone that they should receive something because of their actions or qualities is a false idea because you only deserve something when you have it. You don't deserve it just because you took these acts. You don't deserve to make the basketball team just because you worked hard. Now, you don't deserve to make money just because you're good at the thing that you do. Even though, again, many people may have told you these false ideas. Maybe you have grown up to believe these things. Maybe right now you're feeling a ton of frustration because you're really good at your thing or you're working hard every day, yet you're still not getting the results. You feel like you deserve it, but you're not getting it. So isn't that proof enough that this definition is not exactly what you need? I mean, I would think so, but you can tell me. Send me a text. I gave you my number, and you can tell me what you think about that. Let's get into our points here today so I can tell you what the real truth is, and you can juxtapose that with what the definition I just gave you. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is you only deserve it when you have it. Number one, morality. Being a good person. Doing everything right, quote unquote. All of this entitles you to absolutely nothing. I told you this in yesterday's episode. You should have heard it already. While there are good people who have achieved success, there are people who are good, upstanding members of society. They're helpful, they're nice, they're kind, they're friendly to everybody. They smile and say hello to strangers in the street. They give money to people who are begging. They're doing all these quote unquote good person things. I want you to understand something. Even though there are people out there who fit that description, who have achieved success, do not mistake it. Do not mistake someone being good and being successful with being good is why they are successful. They are successful because they followed formulas to create success, and they happen to be good at the same time. Everybody follow me? And success is a relative term. People get to define their own success. But let's say success by someone reaching a certain level in their business, or they make a certain amount of money, or they have a certain accomplishment, they reach a certain achievement that objectively we all can understand and agree with. That's what I mean in this sense when I say the word success. But each of us gets to define our own success. There are good people who have achieved success. It is not because they are a good person. It's because they followed the formulas. There is a specific formula that can lead to success in any area. Anywhere where you see people getting success after success after success, meaning an objective measure of success, and you see people keep hitting that thing over and over and over again, that is telling you something. That is not luck. It's telling you that there's a formula to be followed, and these people have hit that objective outcome because they are following the formula, or they're able to hit it over and over and over again because they are following a specific formula. If you are not hitting it, there's something you're missing in the formula, even though you may be a good person, a smart person, a nice person, a hard worker. Something you are missing in the formula has led to you not yet hitting the objective outcome. You follow what I'm saying here? So any of you all who is a good person, hard worker, show up early, stay late, all of those cute terms that you heard again from some watered down motivational speaker. Yes, those are true. I'm not telling you that they're not true. What I'm telling you is that motivational speaker filled you up with a bunch of empty calories, some bad gas, and it didn't tell you about the formulas that you're not following. All right, that's what I'm here for. Success follows formulas. Being a good person is simply a correlation to following success formulas. There is no industry in the world called being a good person. Notice that? There's an industry for sales. There's an industry for management. There's an industry for electronics. There's an industry for book publishing. There's an industry for architecture. There's an industry for landscaping. There's an industry for automobiles. There's an industry for paving roads. There is no industry for being a good person. In other words, there is no career where you can just get paid every single day for just being a good person. Being a good person is to success what hard work is to being an athlete. Yes, it often goes with the job, but it is not the job itself. I come from the background of being an athlete. I know a whole lot of hard-working athletes who didn't go too far in sports. I know a whole lot of talented athletes who didn't go too far because they were missing the formulas. Being a hard worker is an element of making it as a professional in pretty much any industry. But if you have no skill, you can work really hard, you're still not going anywhere. Being talented is usually an element of making it as a professional in any industry. But if you don't have the discipline to apply that talent consistently, you're not going to go far. This is the game that you're in. If you want to be a pro at what you do, by the way. All right, if you don't want to be a pro, then this is not the game you're in. So yes, being a good person usually correlates with success, but it does not cause success. Being a hard worker usually correlates with being a good athlete, but it does not cause you to be a good athlete. It enhances what was already there. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is you deserve it only when you have it. You win, this is point number 2. You win by knowing, mastering, and playing the rules of your game. That's how you win. Not by being a good person or feeling as if you deserve something. When you know the rules, you master the rules, and then you perform based on those rules, you become a success. Again, by whatever objective measure there is in your field that you know that equals success for you. Or you can swap out whatever words you want there for success. In basketball, a successful activity in the game of basketball, regardless of who you are or how you play, is when the ball goes in the basket. All right, that's why it's called basketball. You put the ball in the basket, you did a successful thing, and you get points on the scoreboard. Whichever team does that the most in the game, they win. And the objective measure of winning in a sports game is the scoreboard. Scoreboard says who won and who lost. This is why sports is the ultimate meritocracy, because there is no argument and there is no battle of opinion as to who is better than who, because we just look at the scoreboard and the scoreboard tells no lies. Whereas everywhere else in life, there's subjective opinions involved. When you do the most, putting the ball in the basket in the game of basketball, you become the winner. If you do that less than the other team, you lose. Even if you're a terrible, undeserving person, if you put the ball in the basket more than the other team, that terrible, undeserving person will win the game. You follow me? If a terrible, undeserving person knows the formula for sales, like Bernie Madoff, then they're going to make a whole lot of money. And if you're a really good, upstanding, smart person and you trust the wrong person, then you could end up getting fucked over even though you're a great person. Is this true or is this not true? If I got any of this wrong, what I said in yesterday's episode and what I'm saying today, if I get any of this wrong, please text me and let me know that I got it wrong. But I know I don't have it wrong, so I shouldn't get a text from any of you about anything that I'm saying here today, at least not in a negative, only in the affirmative. When you follow the formula the most, you win. You violate the formula, you lose. Even if you violate the formula based on your ignorance. In other words, you violate the formula, you didn't even know you were violating the formula. You don't find out until it's too late that you violated the formula, and because of that, you lost some money. Hey, that's the game that you're in. Tough break. This is the game, folks. I didn't make up these rules. I'm just telling you what it is. And if you don't believe me, I've given you examples of these things happening. These things happen every single day to people. I know a whole lot of hardworking athletes, or I hear from, let's say, I don't know them, but I hear from a whole lot of hardworking athletes who tell me how hard they work, how early they show up, how much they come to practices, how they do all the off-season trainings, and then the season comes around and they're still not getting in the game, and they are pissed off and annoyed, and they're complaining and bitching to me because they're not getting the ROI from all the hard work that they put in. And some of them I explained to this to them, and some of them I just send links to places where I've already said this, but here's the answer that all of those athletes need. Any of you parents who are listening to this, you have an athlete who is in this situation. You might not like what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna tell you the truth, and you can either give it to them direct from me, you can tell them yourself, or you can send them this episode, or you can ignore this and keep telling them the bullshit that you've been telling them and let them find out, let life smack them in the face. But here's the truth. Now, they can learn it now, they can learn it later. Just because you worked hard does not mean you deserve anything. And as a matter of fact, I'm saying that this can go to youth, no athletes, but this actually, some of you adults need to hear this. I know some adults who need to hear this. Working hard does not entitle you to anything. Being a good person, being smart, being wise, being you believe in yourself, you're a nice person, all those mushy statements that people tell themselves to make themselves feel good about yourself. There's nothing wrong with them. Feel good about yourself. That's actually a good idea to feel good about yourself. But make sure you're following some formulas that will help you win at the same time. You don't want the empty calories of feeling good about yourself but not having a formula to follow. Undeserving people can create positive outcomes for themselves. Again, positive, relatively speaking, meaning an objective outcome that everybody's going after, even the good people. They can do it as long as they follow the formula, even if they're a bad person, even if they're a jerk. I know many people, many of them entrepreneurs, who believe they are better at their thing than others in their industry at doing the same thing. I know trainers who think they're better than other trainers out there, but those other trainers are making more money than them. I know speakers who feel like they're better than other speakers, but other speakers are making more money than them. You know, Dr. Phil? You heard of Dr. Phil? That guy who has been on like the Oprah show a bunch of times. He's been in movies. He's like the most famous therapist in the world, Dr. Phil. Is Dr. Phil the best therapist in the world? Nah, probably not. I don't know of a whole bunch of therapists. I don't know the therapy world that well. But if you just really think about it, this is about a law of averages. Is Dr. Phil the best therapist out there? Probably not. There are probably at least 1,000 therapists in America right now who are better than Dr. Phil. Will we agree? At least 100. If not 1,000, at least 100 therapists out there who are better than Dr. Phil. But Dr. Phil is making more money than all of them. Why is this? Because Dr. Phil is not in the business of therapy, even though he is a therapist. I think he's a therapist, or whatever his title is. Dr. Phil is in the business of selling Dr. Phil. And that's where he makes money at. Now, does he deserve it? Nah. That's who knows? That's debatable. Does he deserve to be number one? He ain't the best. He's probably not the best. Just by law of averages, we know he's probably not the best out there. But he's making the most money. Why? Because he's following a formula. Is Tony Robbins the best motivator out there? Probably not. Tony Robbins is pretty damn good. I like Tony Robbins. But is he the best? By everybody's measure, we were to take a poll of everybody out there. Is he the best? You probably hear of a whole bunch of people. If you asked everybody in the country who's ever taken in any motivational material, Tony Robbins probably would not come in first place. He might get a lot of votes, but there's some other people who would get votes as well. So how do we objectively decide? He might be tied with a whole bunch of other people. So why is he the most famous? because there's a formula that he's following that other people ain't following, at least not as well as he is. And they're not engaging, they're not enacting it as well as Tony is. This is just the game, everybody. In any space other than sports where we have an objective scoreboard, this is the game. And it even applies in sports in many ways as well. The problem for the person who thinks they are better than someone who is actually producing more results than them is you have not mastered how to produce ROI from your thing. So even though you are good at your thing, producing ROI from your thing is a separate skill set. It doesn't matter how good you are at something if you don't know how to turn that something into a business result, aka an exchange, which usually involves money. The real root issue for many entrepreneurs who are great at their thing, or at least they believe they are, but they're not getting the returns they want, is that they don't understand what business they're actually in. Many people believe they're in the business of executing whatever the thing is. I'm in the business of speaking. I'm in the business of writing books. I'm in the business of training. I'm in the business of managing people's money. I'm in the business of being a lawyer. I'm in the business of fixing people's teeth. I'm in the business of being a pediatrician. I'm in the business of fixing broken iPhone screens. What the business you're actually in, this is for everybody who's listening to this, you can write this down. You are in the business of generating money from doing the thing. So whatever your thing is, you put that at the end of the sentence. So here's the sentence. I'm in the business of generating money from X. X is whatever you actually do. So I'm in the business of generating money from podcasting, from writing books, from being a pediatrician, from being a doctor, from being being in osteopathic medicine, what do you do for a living? Whatever it is, all right? Fixing car tires, Jiffy Lube, changing people's oils, running a storage business. Whatever it is that you do, you're in the business of generating money from the thing, not the thing itself. When you're operating by faulty formulas, such as you're in the business of doing the thing, even if you're great at it, you end up losing. This is why you got to know what game you're in. Then you'll know what you actually deserve. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is you only deserve it when you have it. Number 3, when you want something, go get it. Don't sit around saying that you deserve it. Don't bitch about the fact that you don't have it. Yes, be a good person. Be nice, be friendly and kind while you're at it. But understand, anything that you have in life, you have because you went and got it. Or somebody before you went and got it and then they handed it off to you. You didn't get it because you're a good person, even though you may think that because, again, correlation. Do not be fooled by the cute sayings and the flowery quotes that feel good but carry very little value by way of substance. I call these empty calorie quotes. Any of you ever seen them before? When you get my daily motivation text messages, by the way, there are no empty calorie quotes. I'm going to give you full meal quotes. No empty calories. In other words, I'm not going to tell you things just to make you feel good. I'm going to tell you stuff that's going to make you think, that's going to challenge you to step your game up. That's what I do. And if you come here and you stay here, just know what you're in. If you don't believe me about those empty calorie quotes, I want you to look around how many people you know in your life right now, not me, but people who you actually know, right? How many people do you know who are good people by your definition, who don't have anywhere close to the success that they want or the success that you feel they should have given their skill set? How many people do you know? Good people who ain't got nothing close to what they should have, even though they're a good person. Then I want you to look at all the good people who do have what they should have, or by your estimation of what they have and what you think their skill is, they have at least somewhere close to what they should have. It's usually around a 50-50 ratio. About half the people, you take all the people who are qualified to really have high ROI at a thing, about half of them have it and half of them don't. Why is that? And actually, that's being generous. I would say maybe about 80% of them have it, don't have it rather, and 20% of them do. 80-20 rule. Then, I want you to look at all the bad people, people who you think are not good people. They are not of high character. They don't deserve anything. They should have karma kicking their ass all up and down the street. But I want you to look at how many of those bad people have created some level of objective success, but they don't, quote unquote, deserve it based on conventional wisdom or general public judgment of that person. And you'll notice that there's a high percentage of these people, is actually very close to the same ratio, who have it even though they, quote unquote, don't deserve it. How do you explain it? Well, I just did, if you've been listening. Point number 4. Today's topic, once again, is you only deserve it when you have it. Point number 4, the bottom line is this. Many of you need to change your mindset about creating the success that you want. You want to create success in life. Your mindset needs to be based on how do I follow the formula that gets me to success, not on why don't I have it yet because I think I deserve it. Success is not something that you, quote, make yourself worthy of, close quote, even though you have maybe heard people say that. It is something that you go and create for yourself through your actions. That is what success is. You define what that means for you, i.e. success is what I'm referring to. You have been taught a lot of bad ideas and incorrect formulas about what actually constitutes success. The biggest challenge with these incorrect formulas is that sometimes they correlate with success. Again, I talked about correlation and causation a few times here. Foolish people believe themselves, or they fool themselves into believing that a correlation is a causation. Being a good person and working hard, and then success happened at the same time, they think, oh, I became a success because I'm a good person and I work hard. No, you became a success because you followed a formula. You probably started doing it a long time ago, and you don't realize that the formula you started following 2 years ago has created success up to this day. So when you have an incorrect formula, you make inaccurate insights, and it leads you to taking incorrect actions in the future. And this is why some people can become successful, and because they don't know why they became successful, they follow an incorrect formula to try to replicate their success, and they're unable to repeat their success. This is why some people become one-hit wonders. They are successful, they don't understand why they became successful. They have a wrong reasoning for how and why it happened, so they try to follow the wrong formula to do it again, and it doesn't work. This is why a higher level of critical thinking is imperative for you to discern what is really going on in your own life when you're observing an outcome. I talked about critical thinking. I did a 2-part series on critical thinking. It was episodes number 1826 and 1827. If you haven't listened to those yet, I would suggest, well, you know what to do next. You already know what I'm going to say. They're linked down below in the show notes. Go listen to them. Let's recap today's class, which is you do not deserve it until you have it. In the definition of deserve, I read the following sentence. When you say that someone deserves something, you mean that they should have it or receive it because of their actions or qualities. This is a false idea that people tell themselves and others all the time. It is not based in truth. Here is the truth. Number 1, morality, being a good person, doing everything right, entitles you to absolutely nothing. See what I talked about in yesterday's episode on a money mindset. Being a good person is to success what hard work is to being an athlete. Yes, it often comes with the job, but it is not the job itself. Number 2, you win by knowing, mastering, and playing the rules of your game. In basketball, for example, it's putting the ball in the basket. In sales, it's exchanging your product or service for somebody else's money. You need to know what game you're in, what business you're in, and what formulas need to be followed in order for you to succeed in that business. If you don't know it, then you'll be operating by faulty formulas. Even if you're right in following the right form or your formula the right way, you still lose because the formula you are following does not work. Point number 3, when you want something, you got to go get it. You can be a good person at the same time. You can be friendly, you can be nice, but you only get things because you go and get them, not because you're a good person. Do not be fooled by cute sayings and flowery quotes that feel good but carry very little value in the field of substance. These are empty calorie quotes. There are plenty of good people who don't have anywhere close to the success they want, and about 20% of good people have the success that they want. Why is that? It was the 80-20 rule. Because people are following faulty formulas. And at the same time, there are a bunch of bad people who have the kind of success that the good people want. Why do they get it even though they don't quote unquote deserve it? It's because they are following a formula. It is not about deserving. Number 4, the bottom line is you may need to change your mindset about creating success. It is not something that you make yourself worthy of. It is something that you go and create. You start with your being, then you go to your doing, then you go to your having in a formulaic matter, formulaic process. It is not something that just happens because you're a good person. This is why a higher level of critical thinking is imperative so that you can discern what's really going on in your own life when you are observing your outcomes or lack thereof. All that said, text me. Get my daily motivation text every day straight to your phone free of charge. My number is 305-384-6894. And when you are ready to step outside of let's say step up from the next level, from thinking you deserve something or you should have something to let's put together a formula and a strategy so you can actually get it in real life. join my Bulletproof Mastermind, or come get coached by me one-on-one in my 30-day mastermind. The links to both are at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.